Peace and blessings, beautiful people.
Peace and blessings.
This is Empress Imani
and Empress Alisa.
And welcome to this episode of Sacred Love Lessons.
This episode of Sacred Love Lessons is sponsored by sacredloveshop.com. sacredloveshop.com, where you can find tools for your spiritual and personal development.
So in today's episode, we want to talk to you about Know Thyself. How you have to know who you are so you can know what you're looking for in a mate.
Yeah, it's all about knowing exactly the things that you want in your life, the things that make you feel good. Knowing who you are and being able to be comfortable with yourself before you even start to look for a mate. And that way you'll know what you're looking for when you do get out there.
Yeah, I know for me, the most critical thing was knowing my purpose, my sacred purpose, and making sure that the person that I chose for myself, wife goddess Alisa, that her sacred purpose was in alignment with my sacred purpose. Because I've seen couples where you have one person that's called to one area, you have another person that's called to something else, and they don't complement each other.
Yes, they don't mesh, and sometimes they actually can be in conflict. But the fact that our sacred purposes are aligned and we are headed in the same direction and they complement each other, you know, when you talk about unconditional love, you can't help but talk about being grateful.
Yes.
And so our sacred purposes totally align with one another. That's one very, very important point that she's making. And also core values. I would think that having the same core values, knowing your core values, knowing what is important to you, knowing what you can and cannot tolerate and what you are not willing to compromise on, and not settling. Those are some very important points.
Right, because I know for me, character is very important. Good character, integrity, commitment, loyalty,
honesty.
Yes.
A person who's able to be trusted, a trustworthy person. And people think that an honest person is always trustworthy, but those are two very different things.
Yes. Another thing that I hold very dear to me is exclusivity. Not everybody hold those values. Some people are into open relationships. Some people are into polygamy. We've seen situations where they call it a throuple, where it's three people.
Yeah, something like that.
Third party situations. None of that appeals to me. I'm the type of person where I want a one-on-one exclusive energy exchange with my wife goddess.
Yes, absolutely. Monogamy was important to both of us from the beginning, and it still is. We're not interested in multiples of any kind.
We don't do multiples over here.
No multiples over here.
Yeah.
You know, being exclusive and knowing that the love that I share with her, she knows it's for her and her only. And she knows that she's safe with me. She's safe to share her love with me because it's for me and me only.
Yeah, and that was something else that I needed to know personally. I just had dealt in the past with predatory energy from people coming to take, to steal, to kill, destroy. So with wife goddess Alisa, one of the things that was very important for me was knowing that I was safe with her.
Yes.
And she makes me feel safe. I know that she has my best interest at heart. There's an even energy exchange between the two of us. It's not one-sided where one person is doing all of the giving, one person is doing all of the receiving. There's an equal give and receive between us. And we definitely believe in the law of circulation and the law of reciprocity.
Yes, it makes you feel balanced in the relationship. It doesn't feel one-sided. The only way that would feel good to someone is if they were a person who was a taker, not a receiver, a taker.
Yes.
Because that imbalance works for them. But for us, it's very balanced. I think we share a lot of the same interests and things that we like to do. So when we are giving and receiving with each other, there's no taking there.
No taking at all. It's giving and receiving. The most important thing, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, was our spiritual connection.
Yes.
For me, in the past, I had always had a 3D connection with people where it was based on something 3D based, earthly based. But at this point in my life, I was very clear on who I am as a divine empress, who I am as a goddess, what's important to me, what I deserve. I know my worth. I know what I deserve. I clearly understand what is long lasting. And for me, it is all about the spiritual connection. And then we ground that connection within the 3D. But it had to be a spiritual connection. And you guys have heard Alisa and I talk about how we met. And if you haven't, we have an episode where you can go back and listen to how we met. You can listen to how we became a couple. Yes. And it was divinely guided. Our connection was divinely guided. And we explained that in detail in those 2 episodes.
Yes. The spiritual connection was definitely there when we met.
Yes.
Because before we actually physically met, we had this connection where we could feel each other.
Yes.
And we would know that the other was thinking about us.
Yes.
And so it was very, very spiritual. Our souls met and became intertwined before we even physically met each other. Yeah.
And there's a synchronicity with us. Like, even now, I can be thinking something and Alisa will speak it.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah.
We both share the same intention. Like, she could be planning something special and then I'm thinking about that special thing and I'll start acting on that. And she'll be like, oh my God, what are you doing? And then we realize that we both have been working on the same thing.
Yes, that happens all the time.
All the time. So there's this meeting not only of the mind, but there's a meeting of the soul.
Yes.
There's a meeting in our spirit.
Yes.
Yeah. And then everything else is just bonus. Like the meeting of the body, which is 3D, that's bonus. That's bonus. Cherry on top. Yeah.
And it makes it even more special because we know our souls are connected, our spirits are aligned. And so when we do come together in the physical, it's even more magical.
Yeah. And it's very meaningful.
Yeah.
And so we're not just having, like, I know right now the thing is like emotionless sex or casual sex, meaningless sex. We don't engage in that. We never have. It's always been that deeper connection on a spiritual level.
Yes.
That's just been mind-blowing and out of this world.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend that you first, before you can even choose a mate for yourself, you need to get to know who you are first. Who are you? You know, a lot of times in our society, there's so much noise. You know, people are doing all over the place. And 2020 has been a year of uncertainty for a lot of people. Even though it's been a year of stability for us, it's been a year of uncertainty. So a lot of people have been all over the place. But I would highly recommend that you quiet the noise in your head. Quiet the noise in your head. And even if you have to write it down, write it down. What do you like? Who are you? You guys already know I'm real big on the I am. Who are you? You know, asking yourself, who am I? And let your higher self speak to you. And then focus on, you know, what do you like? What do you not like?
Yeah, what do you want to do? What do you like to do? I mean, a lot of people find themselves being in past relationships just doing what the other person liked to do. Well, find out what you like to do and go and do that. Enjoy yourself. And then you might meet someone there who's enjoying the same thing that you already like to do.
Yeah.
So it's all about getting to know yourself and what you want to do, what you like to do, what you enjoy. And then you'll be able to manifest, or even those people will gravitate towards you. You'll find someone.
You'll attract that to you. And then with that too, you have to be in balance. Like, you have to balance your masculine and feminine energy. Coming into a relationship from a place of brokenness is not only unfair to the person that you're reaching out to, because they can't heal you. Okay, you have to heal yourself. You have to do your own work. Everyone must carry their own water. And it is unfair for you to come into a situation looking for the other person to make you feel whole and complete. You should be coming to the table yourself already whole and complete. And a lot of times it takes a lifetime to find out who you really are, because you evolve over time. You know, I remember reading an article that says like these 7-year cycles. 7 is usually a number of completion from a spiritual perspective, and it takes about 7 cycle years. And every 7 cycle years, you tend to change and you tend to evolve. And I've noticed that within myself. I have a huge, tremendous growth in year 7. It's always in my year 7 that I just evolve to a whole nother level of who I am. So I can look back in my past and I can see, okay, these people here represented who I was at this particular place in my life. But as I evolve, I begin to grow. And sometimes those people don't grow with you.
Yeah, everyone is not going to be able to go where you go. Mm-mm. As you grow, as you evolve, you continue to learn yourself. You'll see that your circle of friends will change sometimes. You'll see that
it'll get smaller.
Definitely get smaller, and it will change. It will be different people. Yeah. Everyone will not continue to grow as you grow. Yeah. Everyone will not evolve as you evolve. Everyone is not interested in getting to know themselves and finding out exactly what makes them happy in this world. Some people like to be unhappy. Some people thrive in chaos.
Right.
But if you find yourself and know yourself, you'll soon find that you'll be attracting all of the wonderful things that you like into your life.
Right. Mostly because there's always the exception, like a moth to a flame. Yes. There's always that small percentage of people that will want to come and just feed off of you, the energy vampires that will see your light. They will feel your energy. It will feel so good to them. Even though they're toxic, they will still want to be a part of your world. But when you know yourself,
I was about to say, as long as you know yourself,
yes,
then these people will not be able to attach to you.
You can eliminate that.
You'll be able to recognize it for one, for what it is, and then you'll be able to eliminate that from your life. It is so easy to tell someone no and mean it, and that's a complete sentence.
Right. And you have to know yourself. You have to be able to set healthy boundaries. You have to be able to speak your truth. First, you need to even know what your truth is.
Yes.
You have to know what your truth is. And for me, in some areas, I was able to accelerate faster in certain areas. And then other areas, it took me a little longer to be able to come forth with that truth. Like my sexual orientation, it took me a little bit longer than it did for Alisa to come forth with that truth.
Yeah.
But now I'm able to stand fully 500% in my truth with my wife goddess, building an empire, right? And it's just amazing. And you too can have this, but it first starts with you knowing yourself. Doing the work and knowing yourself.
Getting to know who you are, being comfortable with your own self, and then being dedicated to attracting those kinds of people into your life as well. It'll make your life a whole lot easier, and you'll be happier.
Yes, because this is Team Happy over here.
Yes.
So that's all we have for you today. Don't forget to go over to sacredloveshop.com where you can find all of your spiritual and personal development tools. And until we speak again,
be the light.
Be the light.